Welcome to Everything Creepy. Turn off the lights, cuddle up tight, and enjoy the story. You find an old computer at your school, bring it home, plug it in. One night, you switch it on, and there's a message on the screen. But the person writing to you says they live in the year 1541. And they think you're the ghost. This isn't fiction. This really happened to a man named Ken Webster in a quiet village in Cheshire, England. It's one of the strangest and most chilling mysteries of the last century. A haunting? A hoax? Or actual evidence of communication across time? This is the story of the Dodleston Messages. Ken Webster was a school teacher living with his girlfriend Debbie in Dodleston, a sleepy English village near the Welsh border. In 1984, he borrowed a BBC microcomputer from the school where he worked. This was early tech, basic word processing, nothing more. He brought it home and set it up in their centuries-old cottage, which had a strange energy from the start. Odd things started happening. 6-toed footprints appeared in the dust. Cans of food stacked themselves in pyramids. One night, Ken came home and found something truly bizarre. On the computer screen was a message, written in strange, archaic English, almost like it came from the past. True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn, pretty flower, turn towards the sun, for you shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. He thought it was some weird prank, but this was just the beginning. More messages appeared. They were always signed by someone who claimed to be Lucas, a man from the 1500s. He said he lived in the same cottage 450 years earlier, and he wasn't scared of Ken. He thought Ken was the ghost. One message said, "I write on behalf of many. What strange words thou speak. Although I must confess that I hath also been ill-schooled." Sometimes methinks alterations are somewhat barful, for they break many sleepeth. Over the next weeks and months, Ken, Debbie, and their friend Peter began communicating with this mysterious Lucas. They'd type on the BBC micro, leave the house, and return to find messages waiting. Lucas seemed intelligent, philosophical, and often afraid. He said he wrote with Liam's voice, which they later realized meant lightbox, what he called the computer. He could see them sometimes and said, "You are like an angel to me. I see you in my sleeping dreams, walking through the walls of my house." But how could someone from the 16th century know how to use a computer? Unless someone was lying. Then things got even weirder. A new voice began to speak through the machine, but this one claimed to be from the year 2109. "You are not to remove the computer. We are not a hoax. We are guidance. Your understanding is not yet complete." This entity, which was never named, claimed it was monitoring the experiment between Lucas and Ken. An experiment in time communication. It warned Ken not to interfere too much. It called their contact a time breach. Ken and his friends were now caught in a three-way conversation, with someone in the past and someone in the future both watching each other through his house. Eventually, Lucas reveals his real name, Thomas Hardin. He says he was a student at Brasenose College, Oxford. Ken and Peter dig into historical records, and astonishingly, they find a Thomas Hardin who did study there around 1540. More details line up, land disputes, references to real figures. Could someone have faked all of this in 1984 with such historical precision? Thomas wrote emotionally, even fearfully. As the experiment began to end, "Ken, I have no one to stay here. I have now two choices. I shall either await my death or unearth your madness." His final message was chilling. "I have no more messages. You will not hear from me again. Farewell. After that, nothing. The messages stopped. Ken later published a book called The Vertical Plane in 1989, recounting the entire experience. It became a cult hit, rare, expensive, and still unsolved. Some skeptics believe it was an elaborate hoax. Others think it was a case of group delusion, or someone tampering with a computer, but no one ever found any proof. And the messages, over 200 of them, many containing language that predated modern dictionaries. Even stranger, Debbie later said she dreamed of a white room with no walls, and a being who told her she was part of something bigger, something she would never understand. To this day, no one has explained how it happened. A man from the 1500s and a voice from the future, all speaking through a computer that shouldn't have worked that way. The cottage still stands, but the BBC micro is gone. And Ken Webster, he vanished from the public eye. No interviews, no sequels. Just a single book and a lingering question. Did time really open a door in that little house in Dodleston? Or did something else come through? If this gave you chills, hit subscribe for more stories that blur the line between reality and the impossible. And remember, just because it sounds unbelievable doesn't mean it isn't true.